Yo, what's going on, guys? Today in this video, I'm going to show you the best Snipe filters for the new cards in the Season Rewind, along with the Idols packs and the Gladiator packs. But for the Gladiator packs, there aren't really many cards that are really profit-worthy. Like, these two aren't really much profit, and Pascal's not much profit. So, for the Season Rewind, there's a few new cards that you can use Snipe filters for, and then a lot of just re-releases. So some of these might drop in price, but yeah. And then for these three, I think they're all over a buyout. But before we get into Snipe filters, I'm gonna open one pack, see what we can get, if anything. And we pulled nothing. Surprise. All right, so for the first Snipe filter, I'm gonna start with the budget Snipe filters. We're gonna go the 600, well, the 500, so 600 filter. You just wanna spam refresh on this and buy anything that pops up, because anything you snipe on this is automatically gonna make you profit just because of the price you snipe it at. And you never know, you could see a dark matter opals. I see them in Discord, people sniping or missing them for 500 all the time. Personally, myself, I've never seen a dark matter for 500, but I've seen opals for 500. So that's the first filter. Next filter we're gonna go into is the diamond filter. The next three filters are probably like the three best budget filters in my opinion. So for this one, you're gonna find the cheapest diamond, which is right now, it is about maybe 1650, 1700. So what you can do is you can sit on this right here. You could just so you can kind of see what everything is going for. So like the lowest is 1700. So you could sit on this, refresh, and then just scroll and buy whatever pops up if it's cheap enough. Or you could set it down to, like, I would say maybe 1,000, 1,200, mattering. If you want to make a lot, maybe 1,000. Or if you want to see more stuff, probably 1,200, 1,300. So yeah, that's the diamond filter. The next filter is going to be the pink diamond filter. So for this filter, it's the same concept of finding the lowest pink diamond and setting your max buyout so you can make profit off of the actual card that you do snipe. So the lowest right now is Tristan Thompson for about 3,900 or 3,800. So you could do what I said, like scroll, or you can set it down to, if it's like near what that is, maybe 3,200. Snipe anything that pops up. Or 3,000 probably is your better bet. Just snipe whatever pops up. And my favorite filter out of the four or three, if you want to call it budget filters, is the Galaxy Opal filter, because this is how I build up my 100K. The fastest was just off this filter. So, because it is the way I use it. So you find the cheapest opal, and they have a few. I mean, one's fine too. What I do is I always have one card up, so then it just scroll over, so then I can kind of see the cheapest card. So then if it pops up below, like, maybe 8,000, I'll buy anything that pops up. So you can either do it this way, or like I said, you can go down to 8,000, or even below 8,000 if you want. Just snipe whatever pops up. So there's that. That's the last budget filter. That's the last, like, real budget filter. And there's going to be more budget filters whenever we get into the newer packs. But I'm going to go straight into the dark matter filters. So the first, like, dark matter budget filter, if you want to call it, I guess it kind of is cheapest dark matter, and just see what pops up. This usually varies from like 50 to 60K. So 5,600. So for this filter, I'd probably make it a scroll. I like scroll filters more. It's really up to you. So you could set it to, like, if it's at maybe 50K, cheaper even, and then anything that pops up snipe, because you never know, you can get dark matter Giannis and make million MT, or dark matter any of the invincible dark matters. It's like winning the lottery if you do that though. Myself, I've never seen an invincible snipe yet. So the next snipe we're going to go into, snipe filter, is the dark matter and then the division filters. So the first one's central, and the thing with central is Grant Hill and D Rose sometimes, or Grant Hill always is always a buyout. If you're going to use this filter, you want to put your minimum bid to 100K, minimum buyout to 100 or 500, And if it's not, if it's the scroll is like what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10 to 11. Like if it's over 3 or 4 cards, if it's over 4 cards, I would just not even use it. It's just really not worth using if there's too many cards with the scroll. Because by the time, let's say, anything pops up that's a snipe all the way over here, I'm gonna miss it by the time it's there, just because of the amount of time it takes to scroll. So that's the first filter. And for the second one, southeast. This filter is the biggest profit filter you're probably gonna see, because it does have has D Wade, Antoine, Wendell Carter, who I think stays over like 120, 130. Tracy, both Tracys, Dikembe, and then it has the radioactive Tracy too, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, radioactive Tracy right there. So you set up this filter, all you do is color dark matter, division southeast, minimum bio 500, and you just refresh on this. This filter really, like, you really have to be patient on this one. I probably sniped 3 to 4 hours on this filter in the last few days, and I have not seen one single snipe pop up, which is obviously a big shame, because I don't really know how I haven't seen anything in that long, but it just happens. So the next one you can use is Southwest, because you'll have Leonard, John Wall, Zion. Is that it? You have both Zions. Harden. But then there's Morant. I know there's Morant on this filter who kind of ruins it. So here, let me just put minimum buyout. So, yeah, you can't put minimum buyout. So let me do minimum bid 100K. This filter is actually not too bad. I'm going to try this out. I've never tried this one. Oh, okay. Well, that kind of ruins it. All these John Morants. It's a huge full. So if it's like this, yet again, don't snipe on it. Unless you can enable out John Morant. And if Porter is on here, and you could use the Porter, like you could send John Morant into your collection, and then only the Porter would show up, so it's only a 1 scroll. So that's about the only alternative, because this filter, anything you snipe on here is like huge profit. So if you're going to use this filter, I probably wouldn't if there's this many cards on it to scroll past, because you're never going to get to snipe unless you enable out John Morant and you get lucky enough for a Porter to be up for 100K. But, so, there's that for this filter, but, like, yeah. And then the next filter is Northwest. This filter really, it might not work. Actually, this one's not too bad. I mean, if you can enable out, if you have, like, 200K, at least, you can enable out Gary Payton, and then you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, you still have a pretty big scroll. You can enable out Gary Payton if you want, and then maybe Sean Kemp if you can. Because, I mean, let's see, who's on this filter? You got Cat, who I think still a snipe. Should be. The Cat, Malik Beasley, who's a new card. Is that it? Is it Vince? Oh, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's on here, too. So that's a huge snipe. Westbrook's on here, too. Durant's on here too, actually. So this is definitely a really good filter if you can enable out 1 or 2 of the cards. Because it's just way too long of a scroll to get to where you need to be right here. As of right now, it'd be right here. The snipe would obviously pop up right here, right behind or in front of that right island. So you're gonna have to, if you want to use this filter, you're gonna have to either get lucky enough for there not to be many cards posted for 100K, or just you can enable out Gary Payton. And Gary Payton, I mean, then what? For right now, it'd be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Be a 5-card scroll. Which isn't terrible. It's not impossible, but it's still not very likely. So you can, and if you really have enough MT, you could also filter out Sean Kemp and Gary Payton, and it would be a lot less of a scroll. So anything that would pop up, you could probably get. So that's that filter. Then the Pacific filter, you have Invincible, Oscar. I mean, Walt's iffy. I don't think Walt's really a huge snipe. And you have Shaq, AD, LeBron. I think that might be it. So for this one, you can do the same thing. and see. Yeah, that's way too many cards. Oh, Snipe's on here too. So yeah, that's too many cards. You're gonna have to keep doing the same thing for most of these filters, and if there is, you could. Oh, for this one you can enable Draymond if you have Draymond, because that would really lower this one as of right now. I mean, there's only one or two other, like four other cards, I should say, that you'd have to scroll past. So if you have Draymond, enable out Draymond to use this filter, and then I mean you could snipe LeBron, AD. You can get huge snipes on this filter, but you just have to have the MT to be able to enable them out. Unless you get lucky enough to where there's not as many cards on the filter, but you do have to get pretty lucky for that. And then the next filter we're going to go into is the. Let me reset this real fast. Is the idols filter. Where's the? So the idols filter. So you're going to go over to, I believe this one. Idols 30 IP. Yeah, so you can snipe Cat, which is, let me see, what's he in for here? So he's going to end for about 130, 140, and then Antoine's obviously snipe. So you could sit on this filter, minimum about 500, and just refresh until you hopefully can get something. I mean, obviously it's not guaranteed. I saw a Cat when I was setting on this filter. That's it, and I did miss it, so that's the only card I saw on this filter. So that's that for that filter. And then we're gonna go to the rewind. Rewind. Where's rewind? There. Alright, season rewind. So you're gonna have Malik Beasley, Jared Allen, Shy, John Wall, Wendell, and then there's one more, but you can't remember who it is. This filter's pretty good actually, because I think anything you get on here is a huge W. At least I think 50 to 60K profit. Unless it's Wendell. Wendell might be the only one that's not a huge profit. So it's actually a really good filter right here. The season rewind filter. So that's that for that filter. Then the next filter is, we're gonna look through here. Let me see if there's any other. I don't think, no, Warped Reality. Yeah, Warped Reality is not worth it. Don't do that actually. So the next filter is, I mean, if you have enough MT, you can do an enabled Western. So to do this, you'd have to buy out all of these players that are buyouts, and then you kind of have to watch another video on how to enable it, but you would have one or two cards in your collection, so you could scroll, and then everything else in your auction house. So then you can so you'd hit enabled, and then there would only be a one or two card scroll, and then you could do that same with Western, or just in general with every Dark Matter too. That's a buyout. That obviously costs a tremendous amount of MT. So the next filter we're gonna go to is the Lakers filter, Dark Matter Lakers. So on here you're gonna see AD, Shaquille, LeBron, that might be, oh yeah, Kobe, if you get lucky enough to get Kobe. And I think there's Invincible Kobe, obviously, on here too. So Dark Matter Lakers is minimum about 500. So you want to avoid Magic. Magic's the one you want to definitely avoid. Unless it's like 80 or 70K, then buy it. So you want to avoid Magic. And I think that's the only player on here you could really have to avoid. Yeah, definitely the only player you have to avoid. So minimum about 500, and then just refresh. The thing is with this filter, I don't think any of these cards are in packs, so this is a filter that is not the most likely to have a card on it that's a snipe. Like, it won't have the biggest biggest snipe pop-ups, but if you do get a snipe pop-up that is actually a snipe, it's going to be probably at least 100K profit with all the players in it. So that is that filter, the Lakers filter. Then we're going to go to, let me look through the teams right here. Who's on Magic? So you could do Magic too. McGrady, Wendell Carter. But I think these are all on Southeast, so it's really not worth doing, actually. Let me look through these real fast. Who's Rockets? I mean, you could do Rockets. This is a way to get down, and then you could get rid of, because I think they're on Northwest filter, so you do Rockets, and then anything that pops up there you snipe, other than Wendell Carter. No, not Wendell Carter, sorry, it's, what's his name? Porter? Yeah, Porter. So if Porter pops up, if you do use that, if Porter pops up, don't buy him. Let me see this filter, because this filter is huge right here. But, yeah, I don't think this filter is possible. Oh, yeah, because you have Allen and Gary Payton. And John Kemp, actually, so yeah, never mind with this filter. Just way too far of a scroll, even if you do 100K. So the next filter we're going to go to is probably the last filter I'm thinking here is Dark Matter LeBron, just because you have out of position LeBron. So you have out of position LeBron and fan favorites LeBron that you have the possibility of sniping on here. So you just put minimum buy 500, you spam on this filter, and if you get lucky enough, you might get a snipe, you might not. I would, on all these filters that are like the dark matter filters, I wouldn't spend any more than 30 minutes or an hour. If you get to the hour point and you see nothing, switch filters. But never spend more than, I've never spent more than an hour. I would never spend more than an hour on a filter. Just not worth it. So, and yeah, that's the video. That's going to cap off the video today. So, let me know in the comments if you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know if you guys get any snipes. Oh yeah, one last filter you can use, I guess, is the dark matter maximum bid 500, minimum buyout 500, and you can increase this sometimes up to like 5K. Like right now you couldn't, but you have the possibility to sometimes, because you can see really any card on here. So the way this filter works is like if you do 500. This was a big filter last year with Galaxy Opals. Then on here, like if someone puts up Giannis 500 start bid, 100K buyout, then you're gonna be able to see them on this filter. Or you can also see the potential of dark matters that have the buyout of 500. So 500 MT snipe with the possibility of seeing on here too. But that's actually gonna cap off the video. That's the last snipe filter I have for you guys. Let me know in the comments if you guys have sniped anything off these filters. And let me know your best snipe. And yeah.